My name is Erin Steffes, and I'm the department chair for the Department of Marketing, and I also actually have legal studies as well. And we've assembled a panel of really important people in the marketing world for you to ask questions to today. I'll take a second to introduce everybody going counterclockwise, and then I'll give all the panelists just a minute to introduce themselves. So first to my left, your left, I don't know, counterclockwise is Miss Karen Baruti. She is our administrative support. She's my right-hand woman, and if you become a marketing major at Towson University, you will want her to become your best friend. She is the holder of all knowledge and incredibly helpful for students. I have more than once come into her office and seen her helping students not only with class registration, but also with stress management. She's a certified yoga instructor as well, so we love that. Below her is Dr. Veronica Thomas, who is one of our full-time marketing faculty, who is also a prolific researcher and a fantastic teacher. And so we'll let her introduce herself in a second. Below her is Mrs. Lauren Meredith. She is our professional development partner. She works really hand in hand with our major level advisors to ensure that the students who come to Towson University and major in marketing really blend those academic and professional skills and have a really successful opportunity to find the right internship and then start their career on the right foot. And then last but not least, we are super fortunate to have Michelle Creamer with us, who is directly below me. She's joining us from New Jersey nonetheless. She is one of our students scheduled to graduate in spring of 2020. For all that's great and all that's bummer about the fact that she's scheduled in spring 2020 to graduate, we're missing a little bit of the pomp and circumstance. But Michelle is a marketing concentration student who is also going to come back in the fall, which we're thrilled about, and she's going to join our Masters of Marketing Intelligence program. So we're super happy we don't have to really say goodbye to her. We can still celebrate her at some point. So starting with Karen, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and just say a couple words.
Okay. Well, hello, Karen Baruti. I am the administrative assistant for the marketing department. I basically support students with any issues they come in with. If I don't have the answer, I will direct the student to the appropriate resource. Registration is a busy time for students, and when they have issues getting access to a class, they can come with me, and I can sometimes help them out with that, or help connect you with an advisor. There's just various things within the department that I just try to make sure it moves along smoothly. So any general questions about the marketing department, or any questions at all, really, if a student comes by, I will help or find someone who can.
Great. Dr. Thomas?
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Veronica Thomas. I am a professor in our marketing department, and I teach at the undergrad level primarily our consumer behavior course, which is a consumer psych course. So essentially it's understanding why people buy what they do and what marketers' role is in kind of influencing that behavior. I also teach in the graduate program. So we have a marketing research methods course that focuses on both marketing research methods as well as statistical analysis. So if you end up, like Michelle, sticking around for that program and making me happy, I'll get to have you in that course as well. I also advise our students, just encourage our students, and this is my 10th year this fall teaching at Towson University, so I'm pretty lucky.
All right, Ms. Meredith.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lauren Meredith. I am a professional development partner, and I support the marketing students and the students within that concentration. My role is kind of all over the place, right? So I academically advise students, and I help them understand what classes they're going to be taking throughout their time with us. I also work with students to help them on anything that we can consider career ready, and that looks very different for everyone. So some students will bring me a resume and we'll start there. Some students need a little bit more support about understanding what careers or jobs are available to them. And some students are looking to kind of try on some ideas, and so we're researching, what that looks like, functions they could do, what incomes come along with that, what cities are bustling with those kinds of jobs. I do like to note that my role as a professional development partner is specific to the College of Business. So if you come to Towson, I am an extra layer of support that isn't necessarily happening at other colleges or other departments within the country. So it is an extra level of career readiness support that students at Towson are getting, specific to the College of Business.
And we're very lucky to have you there. It's been helpful not only for the students, but also for the faculty to help guide our students into that next stage of life. And last but not least, Michelle.
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle. Like Dr. Cephas said, I'm a senior marketing major and I'm graduating this spring, which is really exciting. And I just thought I'd share my favorite thing about being a marketing major, which is being surrounded by people who are as passionate and as enthusiastic as I am about marketing, and getting to have professors and faculty that are so encouraging and so supportive. They've been extremely helpful throughout my years at Towson.
We feel fortunate to have you. I actually had Michelle in my principal's class a couple of years ago, and I was really excited because I always looked my students up and saw that she was actually a marketing major. I was like, yes, got her.
That's so funny.
It's true. Anyway, if you attendees, if you have any questions, please just add them to the chat. I know that we have some questions that were submitted earlier, which I think we can probably help you out with. But like, if any point in time you've got a question, just add to the chat, and we'll make sure we get it answered for you.
So a typical question that comes up, what kind of jobs do students get when they graduate out of the marketing program?
Great. I think I'll hand that question off to our professional development partner, who is well-versed in that answer.
Yep. So a lot of our students are leaving Towson and typically starting their careers within sales. That is common, that people will go into that as their first position out of school. Some of the growing areas within marketing are going to be social media, digital marketing aspect, the social media aspect, and that data collection piece of it is growing. And then also search engine optimization is where you're seeing a lot of growth in the marketing profession.
Yeah, one of the things that I can share that kind of matches up curriculum with careers is that we've noticed a big trend in the number of students taking positions in sales, particularly in the B2B world, not so much the business to consumer world, but more business to business. And so last year, we really took a hard look at our curriculum for opportunities to give students more training to make them more career ready. So this year, we rolled out a second course in sales, which is advanced selling and sales management, which will really hone those skills in that students need in their first career. And then next academic year, we're rolling out our second course in digital marketing and social media marketing. So students will come out with 2 skill sets that make them career ready and really differentiate them from the market. It's hard to find any university that offers a secondary sales course, much less a second course in digital marketing.
Is the internship required, and what type of support is there for setting students up with an internship?
I sort of feel like Miss Meredith is the most popular person in my friend circle right now, so we're going to give that question to Miss Meredith as well.
So wonderful question. So prior to coming to Towson University, I actually spent 15 years in sales and recruiting roles. So I hired many early career individuals, and I would sit at my desk and say, wow, universities should have more internships. So Towson actually does require an internship, as they should. It is our duty to help you launch into the market and be career ready and give you those skills. So from an internship support standpoint, I do let people know it is unique to each student, right? So some students might come to me and be like, I think it's my resume, or I'm not really focused in targeting my job search correctly. So we're going to do work around the job search and the resume and the cover letter. Some students are struggling with the interview piece of it. So we're going to support them through what are common questions, how do you address them? How do you speak to your skills and what's relevant to the employer? And then obviously figuring out how to go through that final stage of sort of negotiating it and getting that internship. So internships are approved by the department. So we'll look at them and say, yes, this internship is going to work. So from a support standpoint, when it comes to the search piece of it, we have a lot of career events that we're hosting. So we're going to have a College of Business and Economics career fair where you can interact with employers. We have employers that come into the building and do what we call tabling. So you can meet with them casually in the hallway as you're moving through classes. And then we also have the ability for employers to interview right on site where students are taking the bulk of their business classes.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Thank you. Another question coming in. What is the teacher to student ratio in the marketing program?
So one of the best factors about Towson is though it has a kind of a big school feel because you have all of the trimmings and trappings that a big school would have, like active social Greek life and a football team and lots of clubs and activities. The actual feel in the academic classroom is very intimate. With our principals classes, which are open to sophomores through seniors, we have one principles of marketing class Typically, we see those classes capping out between 30 and 36, which is actually a very, very small class size for our principles of marketing course. Most of our peer institutions have far larger classes. And if you looked at an institution like University of Maryland, you might see lecture courses of over 100 students in those principles. When you get to the upper level classes in marketing, we get even smaller. So typically those classes will cap out somewhere between 28 and 32. Of course, it depends on the demand. It depends on the semester. But it allows us to do what we do best, which is to really teach to students in a way that's meaningful to them and give them a lot of hands-on opportunities to use experiential learning and simulations and role plays in the classroom to make sure that they're understanding that link between theory and application. So to make sure that they're ready to go.
Thank you. Question came in, what is the difference in studying marketing at a private institution versus a public institution like Towson?
So there's lots of difference. The structure of Towson University allows us to sort of draw on the power of being a school of our size. We're a university that's, close to 20,000 undergrads. And to that end, we have a lot of relationships with employers and with partners outside the land of the university. So it allows us to do things like hosting a sales competition. Each fall, the Department of Marketing hosts a sales competition where we allow students to engage in a sales simulation in which they do a role play, which is judged primarily by practitioners in the field. It's these relationships we've developed due to our size and due to our depth of knowledge that really differentiates us from some of.
So something that I think is important to note, and this kind of touches upon one of the panelists' earlier questions, is that as a public institution, we have lots of resources, like really great library resources, really great activities for students. And again, that's not necessarily specific to the marketing major, but inclusive to all. And I think one of the benefits that you most often see at a private institution is those small class sizes that you don't often see with a large public institution like Towson. And that is just one of the things that I think as a student would be extremely attractive. And I know as a faculty member, when I came to work here, was really attractive to me, is that while we have all these benefits of a really large state institution, I get to teach classes of 30 students. Like, I get to know Michelle and my students, and that to me is amazing. And I think students, I hope, appreciate that their faculty actually know their names by the second or third week of class and know something about them and the activities that they participate in and what they like to do, and even kind of who their friend circle is. I think that's meaningful to the students, and I think that's something really special that happens in the College of Business at Towson University. So like I said, even though we are such a large institution, there's really this nice kind of safety net almost for students, where they feel comfortable reaching out to their faculty. I have a former student who I actually recommended to Lauren the other day, who came to me and said, how do I navigate the job search with everything that's going on? And I said, perseverance and, talk to our professional development partner, because I know that she is an amazing resource who can help you along those lines. So.
Yeah, and another question I think mostly directed towards Lauren Meredith would be how to get into the marketing program. Do you have to apply? And how do you know when you're accepted?
Great question, and an important question too. So in order to be admitted into the business program, you'll have 6 lower level courses. So you'll have accounting, macro and microeconomics, legal studies, you'll do a stats class and a calculus class. You'll need a 2.7 and a C or higher in those classes to be able to admit into the major. We do not have an application process, right? Like, say some majors might have you write an essay, submit recommendations. We don't do that. We actually audit the grades every semester. And then once you meet that requirement and you've completed those 6 lower level classes, you are emailed saying, congratulations, you've been admitted to the major. So it's a very efficient process. I would like to note that when you come to Towson, you will be asked to take an ALEC, math placement test. Please take time and put a lot of consideration into that test. There are options to retake it if you need to, but the reality of it is that sets your math pathway, and we don't want you to have to start at, you know, math 95 and take multiple math classes before you get to calculus, if you don't have to.
Great, thank you for that. A common question that will be directed to Michelle is, what is it like to be a Towson University student? And how did you decide on your choice of major? Did you already know?
To answer your first question, being a Towson student is awesome. Just like Dr. Thomas talked about for a few minutes, it's a large school, so you have a lot of resources and there's lots of people to meet and lots of ways to network and branch out. But it also feels like a small school in that you know your teachers, you know your classmates, you walk through campus, you see familiar faces. So that's my favorite thing about being a Towson student. And then your second question was why I chose to be a marketing major. I came in thinking that that's what I wanted to do. That's what I applied for my major when I applied to Towson, because I always liked the creative aspect of marketing. That was kind of where my interest started. And then since then, I started to enjoy all the other parts of marketing, including like social media and sales and exploring all the different elements.
Thank you. Can we discuss student support? Common questions are, how do I get an advisor? And how often do I meet with my advisor, and what kinds of things can they help me with?
It's actually a great question, and Towson has a very thorough advising program in place. So when you enter as a freshman at Towson University, you are assigned an FYE advisor, and that stands for the first year experience. We know that the needs of a first year student coming to a university are different than students who either transfer to a university or have been here for a couple of years. So that FYE advisor is with you from the day before you step foot into the classroom. They're there from the point at which you come in, start registering for your classes, and start becoming part of what it is to be a Towson University student. They'll help you with your course selections, and then you'll have them for that entire year. Typically, if you've already determined what your major is going to be, we'll try to place you with an FYE advisor who's within your discipline. So you can ask questions about what the discipline's really like. It's very, very common for freshmen to come in thinking they know what they want to do. Michelle might be a bit of an outlier. She actually thought she knew, and she did know. A lot of freshmen come in thinking they're going to be a biology major or a marketing major, and they get in there and they realize, I don't think this is what I want to do. And that FYE advisor is much more well-versed on the totality of the university to try to open their eyes to other opportunities if what they thought they wanted to do ends up being not what they wanted. As you become a pre-business major, then you would have an advisor like Miss Meredith, who does a lot of the pre-business major. Again, this is because the needs of that population are a little different. The pre-business majors are really focused on getting those good grades in those classes that will be a screener for admission. Once the student's admitted to the class, you have a faculty member as an advisor. Towson University is going back to a system where students are required to see their advisor at least once a semester. They're always welcome to come see their advisor more, and especially with FYEs, with freshmen, we do see them quite a bit that first year. They have lots of questions on how things work and what they can do, and sometimes it's just because they're homesick and want to talk to somebody. But after the freshman year, it's fairly typical that the advisees would come and meet with their advisor at least once a semester to talk about courses and talk about their selections for the forthcoming semester. They also have the support in the College of Business Economics specifically of that professional development partner who is hand in hand. She or he, depending on the concentration, would have that professional development partner as an advisor as a sophomore year, but then in junior, senior year, she doesn't go away. She still has that relationship with the PDP to help them with internship specific questions or maybe career readiness questions that they might have.
So Allison wants to know if she's coming in as a transfer student from Anne Arundel County College. I think that's what AACC is. Will she get an FYE advisor, a pre-business advisor, or a business marketing faculty advisor?
Most commonly, you would have a pre-business advisor. You would not have an FYE advisor for sure, but you would most likely have a pre-business advisor because it's unlikely that a transfer would come in with all the requirements to immediately be admitted to the major. Ms. Meredith, do you have any insight on that?
You'll come to me. You'll be mine. And so what we'll do is we'll work on your degree completion plan where we spell out what you need to do. We'll check through and see what needs to happen for admission to into the major. So for at least the first semester at Towson, you'll be with me.
Okay. And I see your also question is about communications minor combination. That's actually not a terribly common combination anymore for one reason, and that is the fact that the business major at Towson University typically takes nearly all of the 120 credits required for graduation. Most students have between 6 and 9 credits at the end that can be used for any elective that they want. To that end, most students do not pick up a minor if they are a business major, only because they do not choose to extend their time at Towson. It's very difficult to do a minor with a business major in that 120 credits and in with that 4-year time frame. Some students do actually add the semester. I see a lot of students doing languages as a minor, which is a great minor to add to a marketing concentration. I don't see very many students adding minors in communications. We have a lot of communication students adding marketing minors because that adds to their skill set, but the reverse is not as common.
Can a student do a study abroad?
Absolutely. Study abroad is a program that we would encourage our students to do if they have the ability to do so for financial reasons. If you are thinking about doing study abroad as a native student, probably the optimal time to do that is sophomore year. That's when you're still in a lot of the screener classes and you have a little bit more freedom in terms of picking perhaps some of the general education classes to take overseas or some of the lower level business classes. It gets a little more sticky as you get into your junior and senior year to do a study abroad. I wouldn't recommend doing a study abroad your senior year. It's just very difficult because that's the time at which you're taking your capstone classes and doing your internship. So optimal would be sophomore or maybe even junior year, but we do have quite a number of students. If you choose to go to a program that has never been, a student hasn't gone to before, then you just submit the courses to the department chair of that discipline to review the courses to make sure they're equivalent. And you'd always want to do that before you go, not when you come back, because you don't want to get bad news. So make sure you get them approved ahead of time.
So a question for Michelle. As a student, were you involved in any clubs in the business college?
I actually wasn't involved in any clubs in the College of Business and Economics. Unfortunately, I never had time, but I wish I had.
But Michelle, correct me if I'm wrong, weren't you really involved in your sorority?
I was, yeah. So great experience I had. Oh, sorry, was that another question?
Go for it. I was asking you just to talk about the Greek life.
Oh, sure. One of my leadership positions was as Vice President of Public Relations. And in that position, I managed all of our social media and some event planning. So some of that definitely tied into the marketing skills that I was learning in school, and getting to apply them to help improve my organization on campus was really awesome.
Michelle, did you participate in the sales competition? And I already know that answer is yes, but anyways.
Yes, I did. It was the scariest, most amazing thing I've ever done. If, like, in the future, if you're an incoming student marketing, definitely do it. And that's actually how I got my current internship, because aside from actually doing the competition, you get the chance to network with a bunch of local companies. So I met a ton of great people that day, and it landed me an internship.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Michelle mentioned the sales competition, which we host every fall. In recent years, we've had around 45 to 50 practitioners and the same amount of students coming in that day for just from 8 o'clock in the morning till 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, doing those sales simulations or those sales role plays, and then also spending that time in between at lunch and coffee and also with cake, networking and really starting to sell yourself in terms of handing out resumes, looking for companies that might match up with your interests and skills. And in the spring, we have a second networking event. It's not a sales competition. It's a much more laid back event, which allows our students to, again, to sort of practice their elevator pitch, allow them to, again, get their resume out in the market, and really just practice the art of building a business network, which is a really underutilized skill set by students. It's oftentimes not until they get to the professional world that they realize that having that network to support them and then alert them of opportunities is incredibly valuable.
So a question about student support. If a student is struggling academically, is there tutoring available, or how would you recommend the student deal with academic concerns?
Well, I would say, and I'll hand this off to Ms. Meredith, I would say the first thing a student needs to do, and it's a really underutilized resource, is go to your professor. If you're struggling in a course, nobody knows better as to what they can do to help you than the person teaching that course. Every faculty member on campus holds a minimum of 3 office hours a week. And it's amazing to me how often those office hours get unused. So I first would say, go to your faculty member. Maybe they have tips for studying or allow you to focus on, help you focus on the content that's most important. For some of the lower level courses, there's tutoring available. And I think I'll turn that over to Ms. Meredith to help you with that.
Yep, so there's actually something called PALS. And so there's tutoring for classes that are part of those 6 lower levels, right? So a lot of students are going to use tutoring for accounting. A lot of students are going to use it for calculus and then also their econs. So there are options there for support. Some classes, depending on the professor, will have an instructional aid. So there's a student who's excelled in that class in semesters before, and they will be matched to a student who needs support and actually attend class with the student, so that then when the class is over, the student needing support and the instructional aid can immediately work on those problems. And that, you're going to see that a lot like in stats or calculus.
Great. That's fantastic.
A question has come in: what professional skills or certifications can students get?
So this is actually to an interesting trend that we've seen in the market. Some employers are really looking for not only the degree, but something with the degree. In academia, we call it a degree plus. So one of the opportunities to give students that degree plus was not only to offer sales competitions and other opportunities to showcase their skills face-to-face, but also to offer third-party certifications that are in professional certifications that are embedded into the course. So for example, in our Principles of Marketing course, all the students are required to go to get certified by HubSpot in social media marketing. It's an area that's evolving very quickly. The students are really excited to learn more about social media marketing, regardless of whether they're marketing majors or not. Principles of Marketing is taken by all business students, but it's also something that evolves very quickly. And so we rely sort of on that partnership between academia and practitioners to make sure the students have the skills they need. We also have additional certifications embedded into our digital marketing course. That's when they learn inbound marketing and earn that certification. And then again, if students go on to the advanced selling and sales management course, there's a third embedded certification for Salesforce. So we've got a lot of certifications embedded, and we continue to update those as the market demands.
And we also have Excel. We get Microsoft.
Oh, and Excel, right.
Yeah.
So in terms of classes, with the exception of what's currently going on, are there online classes as well as in the classroom, face-to-face classes offered?
So you'll see a big mix of strategies in terms of managing that face-to-face and online balance. So in the marketing department, our philosophy du jour, and it may change, is that we do offer some fully online classes for the principals level. Beyond that level, though, our preference is to do either fully face-to-face classes or, which we do quite a bit of, we also do hybrid classes. We still feel, because there's such an important link between the professor and the student, and a lot of that transmission of information is better facilitated in a hands-on experience, we feel that we like to balance those two things. So in our upper level classes, it's either a face-to-face class or a hybrid class during the main semester. The one time we back down from our beliefs is in the summer, and that is with a great deal of consideration, understanding that a lot of students in the summer do leave the state of Maryland, and so we're willing to do some of the classes online in the summer that we don't offer online during the semester, purely out of convenience. I fully believe that the students who have the professor opportunity to really build that network and build that relationship during the semester, I really feel like that's where the value is created even more so. Online classes are fantastic, but there's just something about having that relationship with a professor.
So this question directed to Michelle. Could you discuss maybe what one or two of your favorite marketing courses were?
Yeah,
no
pressure
that Dr. Thomas is on the call.
Well, actually, her class was one of my favorite courses. I'd say consumer behavior analysis, and then The other one had to be global marketing. And I don't know, I guess for consumer behavior, I just think the psychology behind marketing is fascinating, and learning about why brands do certain things with their products, with their advertising and all that good stuff. It's really, really interesting. And then I really enjoyed the global marketing course because of a project we did where we had to create an international marketing plan, and, you know, thinking about life from the view of another culture was really, really interesting. And I liked applying marketing to that.
Fantastic. Well, I do think we're just about out of time unless there are any more questions from the attendees. All right. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us on our Zoom call today. I hope that we'll see you on campus soon, and we look forward to getting back to a sense of normalcy. Take care of yourself and stay safe.